Is this thing on? Is this thing on? The mic is lit. Faro Gyro.
Kick my music.
Bruh. You done lost your mind. Ain't that right, Lil Pan? Really? Wait a minute. Just a question. The Wait a Minute Show with your host, Jelani Bodie.
Cheer! What's up, everybody? It is your man, Jelani JB Bodie, and I'm back again here in the ATL, here in the Lions Den Studios, and here on a Saturday. Boy, oh boy. Got a lot to talk about. We're going to get into NFL rookies making their debut. We're going to talk about Ben Simmons. We're going to talk about, what else? Boxing, and we'll touch a little bit more into basketball as well. But before we get into all of that stuff, how are you doing out there, America? Let me tell you about me. I'm good. I got some good eats today. Hopefully you guys had a good week. It's the weekend. You're relaxing and everything. You're chilling with your man, Jelani JB Bodie, here on the new stuff, YouTube channel. So this is the second time that we're doing this, and we're going to continue to try and get better and better. And when I say we, it is not just me. It is he, it is him. The ladies love him. Fellas can't stand him. But it is none other than my man, Lopan is in the building. Shouts out to Lopan. Chill over there in the corner, bro. But let's go ahead and get started with what we came to talk about, and that is sports, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to start off with Justin Fields. Justin Fields has finally come to the forefront where he is going to get his opportunity here on Sunday, which is tomorrow, week 3 of the NFL. And he will be starting for the Chicago Bears against the Cleveland Browns. Now, am I shocked that he's starting? A little bit. And here's why. I was not expecting Andy Dalton to get injured, okay? And you never want that to be the reason why you're stepping into the starting role. But injuries are part of the game when it comes to the game of football. So you got to deal with what is out there and what you have been dealt with. So I thought he would start at some point this season, probably more around week 5, week 6, something there. And I thought maybe they would make the change because I truly believe that Nagy and the rest of those upper execs, everything is riding on Justin Fields. But he steps into the role right now to take on the Cleveland Browns team. And this is going to be a good test for Justin Fields. I mean, any game that he get in will be. We saw in week 1 where they put him in and he scored a touchdown. So obviously Bears fans was getting hyped about that. So now they're going to be even hyped more. What I expect, from this debut, I don't see it as they're just going to unleash Justin Fields out there and just give him the green light to do whatever it is that he wants to do. It still is going to be some type of package that they're going to put together. They're not going to want to put too much on his plate. But I do think with his mobility and just the fact that the confidence that this kid holds, and going into that huddle, those other players believe in him. Trust. They've seen it in practice. I'm sure they've been talking about it in practice. And I'm sure some guys are probably like, it's about time, that we got Justin Fields on the field. No pun intended with that. So I expect him to have some type of struggles. There will be some good plays in there. Cleveland is still going through a transition. They're still trying to figure out some things with themselves. But this is a good test because the Cleveland defense with guys like Myles Garrett on this team, they are going to test him. But I believe that they're going to lean heavily on the run game. Guys like Damian Williams, guys like David Montgomery, and they will use the tight end. So Cole Kmet, he should have a big game, or he should be heavily involved with this game coming up for tomorrow. And I do think Allen Robinson will have the best quarterback he has probably had in his entire career in the NFL. So he is probably licking his chops ladies and gentlemen, saying, you know what? It's a lot of things I want to do out there, Justin. A lot of things. Be easy, Allen. Be easy. You got time because Andy Dalton's not coming back next week and he's not coming back the week after. Now, Andy Dalton might not even be back in the starting role if Justin Fields plays well. Now, he doesn't have to he doesn't have to just take the league by storm. He really just needs to play within the offense. Let the defense, and they're not a great defense. They're not what they once were, but let the defense be the defense and not be the one that calls a turnover or not be the reason why they lost the game. Now, I know that's a lot easier said than done, but in comparison to what was on the field as before, I don't think it could go less. I'm just saying that. Well, Andy Dalton didn't stink up the place, but they did want, more out of him to put something out there better than what he did. Now, it was only 2 weeks, so it still was developing. Now it's going to be Justin's time. But the one thing that he does add that Andy could not do was being mobile, improvising, and maybe turning a bad play or a breakdown in a play into a positive yardage, on it. So he's going to have some good things. He's going to have some bad things that's going to happen to him. And it's part of being a rookie. Ask Zach Wilson, ask Trevor Lawrence, ask Max Jones, ask all those guys, even the guys last year that played. It's going to have some stuff. But to me, the Justin Fields era has started, and we're going to continue with Justin Fields. Unless he just really stinks the place completely up, I can't see Chicago going back to Andy Dalton at this point. If they win the next 3 games, they're definitely not going back. So we'll see what happens with Justin Fields. Next up, wild card games. So it's a few changes. We got an extra game in the season. So we got 17 games now that we're going to be playing. And another thing that's going to be changed, and this was done last year, we got an extra wild card game in there because the number 1 overall seed in each conference is the only team that's going to have a first round bye. So you added an extra wild card team to each week or to the week. What they decided to do is that with that extra one, they're going to now have wild card games on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So you had both of them on Saturday and Sunday. So I think, 2 are going to be on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, and then this 1 on Monday. So I'm like, okay, cool. There was only one thing that I was hoping that they would do. And as I read on about this, I said, wow, they didn't do it. And that is, and I understand some of it was timing, but I was thinking Monday for the wild card, let's not have it at 8. It's going to be at 8:15, ladies and gentlemen. I was thinking maybe we could have it earlier, maybe something like 7 o'clock or something like that. Maybe, 7:30, that might work. Don't cut me off, Lil Pan. But yeah, somewhere around there, 7:30, but they're going to go for an 8:15. Am I being selfish? Yeah, a little bit, because, it's just like, I want to be asleep. Stuff is going on the next day. But it is a wild card game. So I think you're going to have people that are going to be starving, for that. So me, myself, they're not thinking about me. But I was thinking 7:30. But obviously, you're worried about people on the West Coast, and you want to think about everybody. But the thing is, you're going to get 3 days worth of playoff football, which is going to be exciting for a lot of people. It's not all packed in to 2 days as well. I mean, it was still working out, but it's not all packed in. And if you got a highlighted wild card game that you really want everyone to watch, you put that obviously on a Monday by itself. That's going to be probably your game of the week, the highly anticipated game. So I get it. I get what the NFL is doing with it. They're adding an extra day. They're adding another piece of excitement to the playoffs. And you're going to have that final game that may, decide who sees who. Well, actually it will, but who's going to see who in the final, in the next round. Now, I do think, what it may entail, which is not, that bad, is that, you got a follow-up game on Sunday. So you'll probably lose an extra day if I'm doing, my math correct. But It's playoff time. Ain't nobody really thinking about that. They just want to move on to the next round anyway. So if it was going down, 2 or 3 days later, the players would be down with it as well. But you're getting an extra game, ladies and gentlemen, or not an extra game. You're getting an extra day for a game for the playoffs, wild card weekend. I like it. I don't have a problem with it. I just had, some things that I really hope that they would do, but they're not going to do it. So it is what it is. I'm not going to be mad about it. Now, before we move on, I want to make sure you guys understand the waitaminuteshow.com, the waitaminuteshow.com, the waitaminuteshow.com. It has been revamped. Check out the new website. Obviously, you see here we're broadcasting on YouTube now, so we're running on the YouTube channel. But go to the website, the waitaminuteshow.com, so you can follow, subscribe, like, all that stuff, because we're on Twitter and we're on Facebook as well, in addition to the YouTube channel. So make sure you're following all that stuff. The waitaminuteshow.com. Can't go wrong with it. Now, having said that, every week, we run through my NFL 3-pack. 3 games, ladies and gentlemen, that I think you guys should really be checking out, or going to be, highly anticipated games, or really good games that is going on for week 3. And it's a little bit different this time, okay? Because I picked 4 games, okay? Sue me. It's my show. I could change it up if I want to. And you can't do anything about it, okay? 4 games that I think you should watch out for instead of the 3. I thought Lopan was going to say something. Indeed. 4 games that we're going to focus on for the NFL 3-pack. First game is going to be the LA Chargers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. And for anybody that's wondering, at the bottom that you'll see right there, let me look down there. Yeah, that right there has all the games that's going to be playing this week, so you can tune in to all those and know what time that they're playing. But the LA Chargers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. This is a divisional game. This is a game of 2 high-power offenses with guys like Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes at the helm for the quarterback position. So you expect a lot of passing to go on with this game, and that's what I'm expecting as well. Along with that offense, they kind of got the same thing going on. 2 out of the 3. 2 out of the 3. Let's just say that. Running game, Austin Eckler, he hasn't been exactly what you probably thought he would be. Still time. I'm not rushing all that. But then also you got Clyde Edwards-Helaire on the other side, where people are, wondering, because last year everybody was just expecting Clyde Edwards-Helaire just to fall into this offense and rush for 1,600 yards. And it didn't work out that way. And it's not working out that way this year as well. So it's just like, what part of the running game, how effective of the running game is going to be for both sides. The other thing is that the wide receiver group. So you got a guy in Keenan Allen for the LA Chargers and Mike Williams to go along with this. Keenan Allen has been the consummate pro year in and year out. You got a problem when Keenan Allen steps on the field, and he's going to let you know the problem has arrived. Now he got a little bit of extra help with Mike Williams, and as long as Mike Williams can stay healthy, and I got my fingers crossed because I got Mike Williams on my fantasy football team, as long as he can stay healthy, this is a dynamic 1-2 punch for the LA Chargers. And the LA Chargers believes in Mike Williams. Everyone sees all the talent in Mike Williams. It's just the main thing is, can he stay healthy? So you got 2 really, really, really good wide receivers that complement each other. Now, this is where it's a little bit different on Kansas City side. You don't have that. You have Mecole Hardman that they are wanting to step into that position. He hasn't gotten there just yet. And Sammy Watkins has moved on to, the Baltimore Ravens. But you still have 2 guys on the receiving end that is a problem, and that is Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. So I'm going to put Kelce in there. He can put up wide receiver numbers. So it's still a 1-2 dynamic receiving punch on both ends. So I think they will go back and forth on this. This is going to be about what defense can slow down the other team's offense just enough, to win this game. Now, Kansas City scores in packs, bunches, in bulk, if you will. Can the LA Chargers match that intensity? Can they step in and go tick for tat, down this field with the Kansas City Chiefs? It's possible. We seen in another team we're going to talk about here in just a second. We seen how it was through the running game, but Cleveland gave Kansas City problems. So this is a divisional game. They could give them problems. Last year, the Raiders beat Kansas City. So I'm not going to put it just past the LA Chargers that they're just going to go out here and just beat the brakes, off of the LA Chargers. LA Chargers, another thing that on the defensive side that they have now that they did not have last year was a guy called Derwin James. And he's a bit of a difference maker. So he's just as effective as the Honey Badger, or I shouldn't call him Honey Badger. I don't think he likes that name anymore. But Tyrann Mathieu. He's just as effective as Tyrann Mathieu. He can change the game, as we've seen what Tyrann Mathieu did last week with 2 interceptions, if I remember correctly. So this is going to be a good game. So watch that game. The other game it's going to be the defending Super Bowl champs, Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the LA Rams. So another Los Angeles team, another team that got a quarterback with a massive arm. I know because he played for my Detroit Lions previously, but another team that is going to be high power against another high power. And you can't miss out on these 2 defenses. So, yeah, we talked about the offenses from the other team. We can talk about the offenses for this team as well. You can go Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Antonio Brown is not going to be, in this game. Rob Gronkowski. Now, the running game, a little bit with Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones. But Tom Brady is back there, and he makes everything all well. And then we switch over to the offensive side there, where you got Bobby Trees, Robert Woods. You got Cooper Kupp, and you got Matthew Stafford. Got some quality players. We don't know what Darrell Henderson is going to do. He may play, he may not play. Sony Michel is going to have to step up in there. So same thing, I think a little even kill, but even on the defensive side as well. Because we can talk about the Rams. We can talk about Jalen Ramsey. We can talk about Aaron Donald. We can talk about now Jason Pierre-Paul is not playing, but we can talk about on the Tampa Bay side where you got Ndamukong Suh, you got Winfield, you have Shaq Barrett on this team, you have Levante David, you have, the list goes on and on. Is it Devin White? Hopefully I'm getting, it's like 2 Devins. I think one in Pittsburgh and one here, but you got so much talent on the defensive side as well. So I think this clash is going to be really, really good. I don't anticipate this to be a game in the 30s because of both of the defenses, but it's going to be a really, really good game from beginning to end. So check that game out. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the LA Rams. Stafford, Brady. Can Matthew Stafford get that win against Tom Brady? I don't think he's ever beat Tom Brady before. Maybe I could be wrong on that. Third game is a Sunday night game at 8:20 Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you're checking that out. It is a rematch of the the NFC Championship game 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago. So the San Francisco 49ers versus the Green Bay Packers. So you got Aaron Rodgers coming off the beatdown that he put on my Detroit Lions. And you got the San Francisco 49ers coming in here a little beat up, but they still got, a pretty good defense. Now, we've seen what a defense can do to the Green Bay Packers, as we saw what New Orleans did to Green Bay the first week. So I'm not expecting the 4-touchdown Aaron Jones and all that stuff to show up in this game. I do believe it's probably going to be more of an Aaron Rodgers game and a Devontae Adams game more than the run game on this. But I could be wrong. Possibly. I doubt it. I totally doubt it. But hey, we'll see. But I do like this matchup. Jimmy Garoppolo gets another opportunity to audition for another team. I know that sounds, bad, but it is what it is. He gets to audition for another team. And beating Aaron Rodgers will be a good thing to have on your resume, to where you can say, I beat Aaron Rodgers twice. To my knowledge, you might have beat him before, but I have beat Aaron Rodgers twice. I think that's all I really need to say, with this game. George Kittle, Robert Tonyan, Debo Samuel, can Brandon Ayuk, can he get into the mix? He's been a surprise where a lot of people were expecting more things out of him, so he hasn't produced as people thought. Run game for the San Francisco 49ers. What is that going to look like? Most of it's out. Looks like Elijah Mitchell, I think, is going to be out as well. Trey Sermon, we'll find out about him because he had an injury that put him out with a concussion. So this run game, we know Shanahan can put people in and they can produce, but I don't know, what type of production he may be looking for with a team like this. But Sunday night, Green Bay versus San Francisco, two classic franchises going against each other. Want to catch that game. So that's 3. And I told you I was going to do 4. So you got to bear with me. But I had to add this one in. It's a little bit of a struggle, but whatever. It is the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, NFC East division. This is going to be that one. It's going to be Dak Prescott first game back home. So you have to believe that home crowd, it is going to be going bananas in there. So it is going to be a big challenge for someone like Jalen Hurts coming into this because that thing is going to be rocking. It's going to be so much noise that's going to be going on. How will he be able to deal, with that intensity? Now, he got Miles Sanders. He got Deontay Smith, Jalen Reagor. On the defensive side, they're missing Brandon Graham. He's out for the season. I think it was an ACL tear or Achilles tear, whatever it was. One of those. But they're missing one of their main guys. They might be missing some other players going into this Monday night football game. But regardless, you still got enough offense. You still got Jalen Hurts. Like I said, Dak Prescott is going to be making his first appearance at home, so that's going to be crazy. A lot of people have been talking about Zeke. Can Zeke, get back to being Zeke? And here's the thing. I think people have missed this. They are not a running team like that anymore. They were like that because they felt that they had some people on the offensive side at the receiver position that wouldn't allow them to do some of the things that they wanted to do. So they leaned up heavier on Zeke. They don't have that now when you got Michael Gallup, when you got Amari Cooper, and you got CeeDee Lamb. So, yeah, they have transitioned over to being a little bit more pass happy. And don't forget, Mike McCarthy. People got on Mike McCarthy in Green Bay about not using the running back that much. So it's no surprise that they're doing this. But it's not really, I don't think it's saying, well, Zeke has lost a step or anything. Is Zeke that same guy that was putting up, all those yards? I don't know. Maybe not. But they don't need him to be that because they're going to need him down the road if they make the playoffs. That's where they want to get Zeke being the Zeke and keep eating and feeding him. So he's going to be a factor. We saw Tony Pollard. He was a factor last week as well. You got a nice 1-2 punch. Zeke is still the man. Zeke is still going to be the guy that gets the priority carries. But what's wrong with a guy like Tony Pollard being in there to give you another dimension and another person that you got to worry about on the offensive side of the ball? So I don't see anything wrong with it. The goal is to win. Goal is not to have a whole bunch of stats at the end of the day and then sorry about that. The goal is not to have a whole bunch of stats at the end of the day and then you didn't make the playoffs. Because that's what everybody's going to say. Well, I got all these stats, but, you didn't make the playoffs. So let's win some games, and then we'll worry about all the stats later. But those games, you definitely want to check out. The LA Chargers versus the Kansas City Chiefs. You got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers taking on the LA Rams. You got the Green Bay Packers taking on the San Francisco 49ers. And the Monday night special, Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Dallas Cowboys. So, again, Week 3 is going on. Check out those games. And we'll talk about Week 4 next week when we discuss NFL and even more. So what we're going to do, we'll take a break. And then when we come back from the break, we're going to get into some basketball news. Ben Simmons and Andrew Wiggins is in the news. I'm going to talk about them and more. So it's the Wait a Minute show. We'll be back after these words.
Do you want your next Atlanta event to be memorable? If so, have Drink in Color at your next function. Drink in Color is sophisticated bartending that creates signature cocktails for your special occasion. Wow your family, friends, and business associates next time with Drink in Color. You can contact the owner, Kiki Lewis, at 678-813-7102. That's 678-813-7102. You can also email her at drinkincolor@gmail.com and follow on Instagram at drinkincolor. And tell her you were referred by the Wait a Minute Show. Drink in Color, cocktail catering. Let the cocktail sparkle at your next event.
Do you like making an impression? Who doesn't? Well, when you want to dress to impress for less, check out Rail Scott at Prime Ties to Go on Facebook and Instagram. Quality accessories for men and women at low, counted low prices. Everything from ties, bow ties, watches, bracelet, earrings to pocketbooks. Don't miss out. Check out Rail Scott, the owner, at Prime Ties to Go. That's Prime Ties, the number 2, Go on Facebook and Instagram.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen, and we are talking sports here on the waitaminuteshow.com or the Wait a Minute Show, but make sure you go to the waitaminuteshow.com. Another thing that I want to talk about, because October is right around the corner. And for those who know me and know me well, they know what time is coming around. And I'm getting ready to gear up, amp up, and really get this thing rolling. And that is the Wait a Minute Show toy drive that we always run during the holiday season. We help out kids who wouldn't get something otherwise. We sponsor kids, I should say. We sponsor kids to get them what they want for the holiday season. And we work with a nonprofit organization. So get ready for that. I'll be posting, another video, about that, and you'll hear me talk about it from time to time. And when we really get deep off into it, probably closer to November, I'm going to be talking about it a lot, because we do love the kids around here, and we try and do well and try and help out and make the holiday season really happy for some of these kids. So we've been able to raise money through donations and go out here and buy this stuff for kids and make things happen. So so far, I want to say, I know we've probably over 200 kids. Let's say that we've been able to help. And I want to continue to grow that number and get it larger and larger and larger. So I'll talk about that right now, just to put a little bit in your ear. So when I bring it up, you'll know what I'm talking about. So the Wait a Minute Show toy drive is going to be going down pretty soon. So I'll talk about that and more and give you updates. Now, let's get back to talking sports. And Ben Simmons, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you, Ben Simmons is in the news because I was seeing that they were going to make an attempt. And you say, who is they? Who is they? They being some of the Philadelphia 76ers players like Joel Embiid and others, was going to board a flight, head to L.A. to talk to Ben Simmons to say, hey, big fella, we need you to go ahead and come into camp. Well, it was reported that Ben said, let me call them ahead of time and get on this phone and tell them, nah, player, y'all need to come out here. I appreciate it. I understand what y'all doing, and I love y'all for it. But nah, player, I don't need y'all to come out here. I ain't coming back. No, I ain't finna do this no more. And so it was already talked about Ben Simmons was going to be requesting the trade. And I've been talking about this, that, it probably needs to be happening anyway. And Philadelphia was wanting way too much, for Ben Simmons. But you got to start high, start somewhere so you can work your way down. But for me, yes, he has a contract and all that stuff. But if it's a done deal, if he is not coming back, and the organization, Doc Rivers, is saying, that they really want him back and all that stuff, I get that. You're the coach. You're supposed to say that. It'd be bad if he came out there and just said, man, forget Ben Simmons, man. Get this guy out of here. Get somebody, get the secretary on the phone and have them trade him out of here or something like that. No, they're not going to say that. Of course they want him back. But at the end of the day, if he's going to be gone, there's no point in him showing up, run the risk of an injury. If you're trying to trade this guy and you're trying to get max value for him, he's better off at home, because we've seen in the NBA trades get done. It isn't like football where you got to show up and all this stuff. James Harden could have just easily stayed home. Now, he did take his time a little bit to get in, but he could have easily stayed home. Other guys have just been like, or they've even told guys, stay home, don't come around. We're going to trade you. We're going to find a spot for you. We're going to put you in somewhere, and we'll get this done. So, he's got his mind made up, and he's going to get booed. So he might as well get booed wearing another jersey, because he's going to get booed by Philadelphia fans coming back. And it's not all one person's fault or anything about this, but I just really do think that this thing has ran its course. It's probably at this point right now, nothing that they can reconciliate and fix. And down the road, they could. But I just think right now where it is, he's got his mind made up. He's ready to move on. Trade the guy, get some assets for him, get some reasonable assets, for him. And Ben Simmons is not. It's not you're trying to trade the 8th guy on your roster. He still is an all-star. He still is a really good passer. He still is a good, really good defender. His problem is just certain parts of his offense, which I've already said I think he can fix. It's up to him to whether or not he wants to fix it. That's it. It's up to him as far as he wants to fix it. It's not like he doesn't have the tool or the skill set not to fix it. So stay home. Wait for them to make the trade. Unless you change your mind, then they will take you back at this point, because you still can help this team. It's just what you had to work on, and hopefully over the offseason, Ben Simmons was working on this. But if it's all said and done, you're not gonna go anywhere near Philadelphia. You're not gonna play for the team. You've played your last game. As you're watching, this is the last game that he played, Game 7 against the Atlanta Falcons. If this is your last game, then go ahead, stay home. There's no point of Embiid or any of them going out there. You can Zoom call him if you want to. I mean, unless y'all were going to go out there, strong arm him, strap him into a private jet, and then fly him back to Philadelphia and sit him down and say, now, you know what? We are not leaving until you say yes or something like that. Might work, but I doubt it. So Ben Simmons is going to get traded. They're going to get, to me, I think they're going to get, some good pieces, for him. Now it's all Joel Embiid, and you get another player that can facilitate, get the ball to Joel Embiid, let him do what it is that he does, and you get some other shooters, and you get some other quality, playmakers, on it. And you may get someone that's not a superstar. You may get another all-star or up and coming, player. But I just think that ship has sailed as far as Ben Simmons coming back playing for the Philadelphia 76ers. So we're going to move on, from that, but we're going to talk about another basketball player, Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins was making the news because he was seeking an exemption from vaccination due to he was wanting for religious reasons. And in the state of California, they declined that. And the reason why this is a significant thing is that in California, they are making, a mandate for people to be vaccinated in certain matters. And he falls into that matter where they are requiring him to be vaccinated. And for big events. And a basketball game is a big event where it's going to be a large crowd. So all the employer's employees are required to be vaccinated. So what this means is, in short, is that if Andrew Wiggins does not get the vaccination, he will not be able to play any home games in the state of California, which is 41 games. Okay. So he will miss half of the season if he stays unvaccinated. Now, I don't know what his religion is, and I'm not going to try and guess and all this, but I'm going to respect that, he felt that he needed to. I don't know what his ultimate reason behind not want to get it. Like I said, I don't know what his religion is. Now, there was reports that he said, if he had to get it, he would get it. The man has some type of concerns. That's how I look at it, is that he has some type of concerns for this vaccination that applies to him. And because if he didn't, he would have already gotten it. So it's like, what are those concerns? He doesn't have to say it publicly or anything. It's just what I'm wondering. What are those concerns? Is it something maybe that he's in fear that he could have some type of reaction or something like that? I don't know, but it is something. But I guess the biggest key is that would Golden State actually go half the season, without Andrew Wiggins? This guy, he was coming off one of his best seasons. I think he had a career year where he's averaging 18 points a game. So this is a big deal for the Golden State Warriors. Still not over yet, because training camp is getting ready to start. And preseason games, they could have them, sit out some preseason games. It's only a few. And there's still time. So maybe it's something that they can work out. Maybe it's something that they can come to, a conclusion that works out, for both sides. But it seems like the state of California is really setting firm into this. You got to get vaccinated or you can't play. So interesting situation there for Ben Simmons. I mean, not Ben Simmons, Andrew Wiggins. I'm going to take another break, ladies and gentlemen, because I want to talk about no Big L award. No Big L award. I promise this time. Last time I told you it wasn't a Big L award, and I told you I lied. So I promise there's no Big L award, because it's something else that I want to play for you guys. But we're going to get back into some NFL football. OBJ, this whole roughing the passer, we're going to talk about that, and we'll get into a replacement for this show for the Big L at the end. You don't want to miss it. So we'll be back after these words.
Do you like making an impression? Who doesn't? Well, when you want to dress to impress for less, check out Rail Scott at Prime Ties to Go on Facebook and Instagram. Quality accessories for men and women at low, counted low prices. Everything from ties, bow ties, watches, bracelet, earrings, to pocketbooks. Don't miss out. Check out Rail Scott, the owner, at Prime Ties to Go. That's Prime Ties, the number 2, Go, on Facebook and Instagram.
Do you want your next Atlanta event to be memorable? If so, have Drinking Color at your next function. Drinking Color is sophisticated bartending that creates signature cocktails for your special occasion. Wow your family, friends, and business associates next time with Drinking Color. You can contact the owner, Kiki Lewis, at 678-813-7102. That's 678-813-7102. You can also email her at drinkandcolor@gmail.com and follow on Instagram at drinkincolor. And tell her you were referred by the Wait a Minute Show. Drinking Color, cocktail catering. Let the cocktail sparkle at your next event.
He's the brain of operations.
I'm telling you right now, book it!
And him, he's along for the ride. But together, they bring you sports like you've never heard before. The Wait a Minute Show, a new way of discussing today's trending sports topics. And now, back to the show with your host, Jolani J.B. Bodie.
Indeed, Lopan. Indeed. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we are back and you are listening to...
It's the Wait a Minute Show.
I already talked about the waitaminuteshow.com, but I'm going to say it again. Waitaminuteshow.com, man. Make sure you check out the website. We changed it up. We are getting some merch coming up. So if you want yourself a Wait a Minute Show t-shirt, we're going to put that out there as well. No, we're not going to do any low pan t-shirts. So don't get too excited, low pan. But yeah, we'll put some stuff out there where you can get yourself a Wait a Minute Show t-shirt. So look out for that. Let's get back to NFL, and we're going to talk about Cam Jordan for the New Orleans Saints. Was talking recently about this whole thing with roughing the passer when it comes to the quarterback. And a comment that he made, he just, he's talking about basically, like how crazy it's gotten. And, that's just the world that we live in. But he said, might as well just attach a flag to their hips. And this is the quarterback that he's talking about with this. He's absolutely right in what he's talking about. The NFL and the rules sometimes go way too far. And we've seen this with other stuff. We're talking about these taunting penalties, which we had more in the first 2 weeks than we have had all season of last year. We talked about the catch rule, where nobody knew what a catch was anymore after how they did my man Megatron wrong, which is still was a catch. They did Dez Bryant wrong. It still was a catch. So now this whole thing about roughing the passer and the quarterback, I can understand a defense frustration with this because it puts so much on responsibility on the defensive player. The quarterback is not responsible at all. A quarterback can literally actually use this to their advantage unfairly. And you're saying, hey, you gotta, hit the quarterback on the side with your shoulder, and you gotta make sure when they fall, you don't fall on top of them or anything like that. That'd be different if the quarterback was sitting in a chair like I am, grabbing the ball, and he can't move around, and all he can do is just turn and throw the ball. But that's not the reality of football. And I left out that you got someone 300 and some odd pounds that's trying to stop you from getting to the quarterback, sometimes 2 or sometimes 3 guys pushing you around and all this stuff, and you're trying to get back there. And then once when you get to the quarterback, now you got to think, hey, am my shoulders to the side? Am I going to fall on top of him? Which way do I need to shift my body so I don't fall onto the quarterback the wrong way? It won't be interpreted. The referee won't be anticipating it. They throw a flag. It was third down. We would have been off the field. But now, because of this bogus penalty and everything, we're back on the field, and then we give up a touchdown. So I totally understand where Cam Jordan is coming from. This is that you have to put some responsibility on the offensive player to put or the quarterback to put themselves in a situation that would be less likely a roughing the, you got to give them some of the responsibility. That's what I'm trying to say. Let me just say that. You got to give the quarterback some of the responsibility, because right now, I don't think the quarterback bears any of the responsibility. You get to step back there. You can't be at their knees. You can't be at their legs and everything. Totally understand that. But again, if you're getting blocked and 2 or 3 guys, or, one you chip by a tight end or something like that, they knock you down and you roll into the quarterback. How is that my fault? How was I supposed to roll around the quarterback's leg and out of the way when someone is pushing me? So that's what I'm saying. Like, you got to give the defense a little bit of a break. These things are getting ridiculous. They are costing teams games, because like I just said, they will give up a score, maybe a touchdown or a field goal where they normally would have been off the field. It has to be revisited, and it has to be shown, hey, Give the defense you already, can't touch a wide receiver, at this point. You can go all over the middle and take a bath and all this stuff, Got to get a defense a break. Help them out with something. But I guess they're scoring more points, so everything's all good. I guess viewership is up, baby. Everything is all good. Defense sounds like a you problem. That's what it seems like. But we'll see if they change it. They got to tweak it. Let's just say that. Tweak it. Now, OBJ, Odell Beckham. He is possibly going to be playing week 3 in the NFL. Hasn't been reported just yet. Not anything that I have heard of if he's going to be playing. But if he does play, great, because Jarvis Landry is out. So you're going to need someone to step in and help out with this receiving core. You got Donovan People-Jones. You got Rashard Higgins. And you got this, what's the other kid's name? Man, I can't think of his name right now, so I apologize, on that. But you definitely want to have, a veteran presence up there. But if he doesn't play regardless, more than likely week 4 is going to play. But the biggest thing is Odell Beckham coming back, playing in this offense. What is the expectations? What are we looking for from Odell Beckham to be, to do, to perform, to get done, whatever you may want to throw out there? What are we looking for from Odell Beckham? And what are our expectations? I'm going to tell you what my expectations are. Nowhere near what they were in New York. One, he's coming off these injuries. So to ask him to do what he was doing before, I think it's going to be tough, due to the injury. But also, I don't think it warrants him having to do all that. The New York Giants was a totally different team. When you look at the Cleveland Browns, and I'm not going to say I think a lot of people would probably consider Baker Mayfield now better than Eli Manning at the end of his career. Now, some people will argue that, and I'm not, it's up for debate, but I do think Baker Mayfield is at a better position than what, Eli is. Their run game for the New York Giants was nowhere near what the run game here is in Cleveland. So I'm just saying, for this team, they don't need Odell to be that guy where he made the 2-finger catch or whatever, and then, 1,400 yards receiving and all that stuff. They don't need that guy. If they get that guy, great. But they don't need that. And they don't need to go out there and just say, all right, we're going to make sure we get Odell the ball. You don't need to do that. Odell will do what he needs to do, and his moments will come where they will get the ball to him. Trust that. So if he goes out there and in the first 4 or 5 weeks, maybe he's at 60, 70 yards, a game or anything like that. He hasn't had 100 yards receiving, but they're still winning because Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, that is a dynamic 1-2 punch in this running game, and they love running the ball, and then they want their defense to be able to step in. That's fine. Odell Beckham, where he's going to be the problem, for other teams, is that when it becomes crunch time and you're like, we need a play, we need somebody to do something, we need to go to somebody, you're going to have that person in addition when you get Jarvis Landry back. You still have Njoku, and you still have, Austin Hooper, and you're going to have Kareem Hunt out there, receiving passes on third downs and everything. And you're going to have another element that you have to worry about. And that, I think, is what Odell Beckham is going to really bring, to this team, is another weapon that you have to worry about. But you don't have to 100% game plan for and just say, all right, if we stop, because to me, it's not if we stop Odell Beckham, we win the game. Because look at what they did last week with the Kansas City Chiefs. They were in that game, and they just got to figure out how to get over the hump. You look at last year in the playoff game against the Kansas City Chiefs. They almost had the Kansas City Chiefs, and they were about to get them up out of there, and they were playing on the road. And this is without Odell Beckham. So that's why I say he adds another element to help them if you run into a team like the Kansas City Chiefs again, because there are a bunch of teams that's going to Arrowhead Stadium, taking on the Chiefs, and they're not having the luck or having the game that the Cleveland Browns are. So Odell Beckham is going to help this team, and he's going to put them to another level, but it's going to be great because he's not going to have to be the Odell Beckham of his rookie year and second year, and basically why we're talking about him now. And it takes off the pressure, and I think it will work out. And he'll have his games, he'll have his moments, where he'll have really good games. And I think something like next year, you'll probably have over 1,000 yards, because as we've seen in this league, 2 wide receivers, so him and Jarvis Landry still can have 1,000 yards receiving, and then you can still have success with your running game. We saw Dalvin Cook with Minnesota have really good success, and Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson. I can't remember. I don't think Adam Thielen might have had over 1,000 yards, but he still had a heck of a season to go along with everything. So that ball can travel around and find its way to Odell Beckham. So come back, get into the mix, get your body in football, preparation to deal with the week in, week out, and then he'll add value to the team slowly but surely. But you don't need him to be the old Odell Beckham. You don't need him to be that at all. So Cam Jordan, Odell Beckham, NFL. Last thing we're gonna talk about before we get into the final thing that I'm getting at is Oscar De La Hoya. Yeah, we're gonna touch a little bit on boxing. Oscar De La Hoya. I saw this and I'm like, I don't know how to feel about this, but Oscar De La Hoya wants to fight Floyd Mayweather. And he said he's going to offer him $100 million. I don't know where that $100 million is coming from, but he said $100 million. Now, people are saying that, this is not going to, happen, that Floyd ain't even trying to, get into this. But Oscar De La Hoya has not fought since 2008. And I don't know if people want to see a Oscar De La Hoya Floyd Mayweather fight. I don't think it would be, because Floyd retired, so obviously it's an exhibition fight. And you know what? I really don't even think that matters at this point anymore, because we've seen the success that these fights have had. It's just whether or not people want to see them or not. Because if you're getting paid and $100 million is on the line and everything, I don't think anybody really cares about what the record is, other than Floyd Mayweather, because he's undefeated. But I don't know if I would get up for a Floyd Mayweather Oscar De La Hoya fight, just for the reason of it's been 13 years since Oscar has fought. Now, I'm not saying that he still couldn't go out there and put on a show, but I would say this: it would pique a little bit of interest, just for the fact of Floyd would be fighting another professional fighter. Now, Mike Tyson fought Roy Jones Jr., who was a previous champion, but also professional fighter. And Floyd hasn't done that. He's fought Conor McGregor from another contact sport, and he just fought one of the YouTube stars, one of the Paul brothers, and it's a show. It's entertainment. And I said this before in previous shows, that I don't have a problem with that. You're entertaining. All that celebrity death clay match that we saw way back in the day from MTV and some of all this other stuff. This is what has given them, the lane, the channel to do something, like this. So I don't have a problem, with that. I just don't know if people would be interested enough and tune in. Now, if Oscar go out there and say something crazy, maybe, possibly, perhaps, but I'm not that, I'm not a diehard boxing fan like some other people are. So maybe this is something, that they will want to catch, but I digress. I'm going to move on from it. The last thing I'm going to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, normally this would be where we give out the Big L Award. And that's the big loser award for somebody doing something loserous or whatever. We're not going to do that here because it's just funny. It was just funny, and I just wanted to bring it to your attention if you haven't seen it already. So Jordan Clarkson, man, the NBA season is getting ready to start, kick off, and training camp is about to start, and, guys start, rolling back into the teams that they play for and all that stuff. And we get excited, because then we get a mixture. We get basketball and football, both going on at the same time. Well, Jordan was interviewed by a local Utah reporter, and it was a little crazy. So you're seeing it right now, and I'm going to play the audio for you here in just a moment. But he's interviewing, and check this out on how this goes down, okay?
So, did you go to any Jazz games?
Yeah, a lot.
Mike, now you spell your first and last name.
Spell it. Jordan Clarkson. JordanClarkson.
So if you missed it, the first thing was she asked, have you been to any Jazz games?
Go to any Jazz games?
Yeah, a lot.
So Jordan says, yeah, I've been to quite a bit of Jazz games. And then after that, this is what, reporters do, I guess, to get the names right, the spelling and all that stuff. When they put it out, when they actually, put it all together and they report it, they ask them their name.
Mike, now you spell your first and last name.
Spell it. Jordan Clarkson. JordanClarkson.
So, did you go to any Jazz games?
So I had to play Did You Go to Any Jazz Games? Because that's just so funny. But he spells it out, and it still doesn't register to it. And this is the great thing about, and Jamil Hill put this out here. She was just saying, this is the great thing about, being in that industry and everything, is that, hey, sometimes you make them, it doesn't all just click. It just doesn't all click. And to her defense too, she doesn't work in the sports department, so it's not like she's just tracking Jazz games all year round or anything like that. It was just a funny moment that she ran into an NBA player to ask if he had been to any NBA games, and then to add on to it, spell your name, and he spells his name, and it still didn't register that this guy plays for the Utah Jazz. Now, she had went on to Twitter, and she talked about how let me go back. Sorry. She goes back and on the Twitter, and she made fun of it and made it light and everything. And I enjoyed all of it because, look, we don't get it right all the time. And it's no different here in this situation. I just thought it was a funny moment. And Jordan even laughed at it because when she tweeted out, he responded back. So I know people are going to try and find some negative about it. I'm not going to go into, how they're going to try and, at an angle and all that stuff, because it wasn't anything like that. Ladies and gentlemen, it was just a funny moment. And let it be that funny moment. Let's laugh. Let's have a good giggle. She had one. And then we get ready for basketball. So I just wanted to point out a good moment there that went down in the pre-NBA in Utah. Shouts out to my man Jay Evans, who was just coming back from the Georgia State Auburn game. He said that they got robbed because Georgia State, they were up halftime. And I'm posting his comment that he made about Gurley, but we ain't talking about Gurley, man. But Jay Evans is a Georgia State alum. And I'm going to give him a big kudos here on the show. So I'm going to get the kids in here to give a big kudos to him because he went to Georgia State. He went down to Auburn. He was the only person that represented Georgia State down there by himself. And it was looking good. It was looking good because I was watching the game and I saw they were up. They were, second half come, things happen and all that stuff. And next thing you know, Georgia State lost the game. But he was in his section holding it down by himself, taking on all the Auburn Tigers fans. So for your man, Jay Evans, putting it together out there, man. You got to give him a big ups. Big ups to Jay Evans. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is it. That is another episode in the books of the Wait a Minute Show. Man, I hope y'all had a good time. I know I did. Shout out to Jay Evans again, man. I mean, to go down there and hold it down by yourself in SEC country, and everybody was expecting y'all to lose, and y'all was up at halftime. You got doggone right. I'm gonna be up in that mug representing like, we here, son. We here. We ain't going nowhere. It's always just two halves, though. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of here, man. Y'all have a good rest of y'all week. Y'all be easy, be safe out there, man. Enjoy week 3 of the NFL. Enjoy the beginning of the week, because guess what? It comes back down to the end of the week, the weekend again, and then we do this like we always do, man. So everybody remember, a challenge is never for you to fail. It's always for you to lay your blueprint on how you're going to win. Never forget that. So when these challenges come up, take them on. Take them in stride. So for your man, Jelani JB Bodie, host of this thing called The Wait a Minute Show, I'm going to holler at y'all later, and we'll do it all again. 2 things as always. Stay positive and push forward. And I'll holler at y'all later. Lopan. Let's go.
It's the Wait a Minute Show.